In this video, I'm going to talk about all the interesting stuff that happened in The Walking Dead World Beyond Season 2, Episode 6. Now, way past the most obvious important thing in this episode, which is Jadis being in it and talking so much about Rick, we get a much bigger insight on that. It changes everything. In this episode, they revise a plan for Felix to sneak into the experiment room and get a bigger insight on what the serum are actually up to, and in that room, he finds loads of frozen walkers, people that have been experimented on. He also finds smaller vials containing this green liquid and big yellow biohazard tanks with a prominent letter V written on them. Now, before Felix even finds these big tanks, much earlier on in the episode, Leo Bennett reveals that this is what they use to take out the campus colony in Omaha. This is the stuff that they used beforehand, before they completely destroyed it. A place as big and as sinister as the CRM with such ambitions, you don't want any kind of gas, whatever they plan to do with it. It's not good. They mess around a lot with the idea of the virus and the walkers turning, and this gas is marked with V, so it's pretty straightforward what they plan to do with it. This episode, in fact this episode alone above all other episodes in World Beyond, changed everything, and it's got very little to do with Jadis. I quite like Jadis, but she gave me actually quite a lot of doubt for the Rick Grimes movies because she says Huck trained her. In other words, she was here to train Jadis when she became who she is now. So we're likely going to see Huck in the Rick Grimes movies, and I don't want to see that, honestly. With that being said, it was actually really cool to see Jadis in this episode. Every single word she said was really important and actually gave away quite a lot. I mean, for a start, when she first saw Huck, Huck calls her
Warrant Officer Stokes.
Officer Stokes. Stokes is Gabriel's second name in The Walking Dead. I know she liked him, I didn't know she wanted to take his second name. I didn't get that impression at all. Now, I think the main reason for her using Gabriel's second name and not her own is because that was her identity before she was taken, or rescued as she puts it. She was with Gabriel for a whole year, so it would make sense that she would pay homage to him like they were married. When she was taken, she obviously felt bad for what she did at the end. But what's weird about that is she actually went by Anne for a short time. Anne is her real name. Jadis was her Apocalypse scavenger name. So her calling herself Jadis still since the moment she arrived at the CRM could mean there's a small hint to her character that is in fact not actually some die-hard soldier, which she has appeared to be. Because with her using a completely fake name now, is it to help herself have this new life and become this new person? Or is this because we're not seeing the real Anne? Anne is actually quite scared and doesn't know how to escape the CRM. I actually strongly doubt the latter because characters like Jadis have lost all their purpose. The CRM gives them that. Nonetheless, her using the word Stokes confirms she still feels for Gabriel, which means there could still be some work for Gabriel to do left in the show, and that would actually 100% save him from any fate he would have had in The Walking Dead, with Jadis not being a thing. That's always been something important with Gabriel's character. I've said I think it's really likely he's going to get Dwight's comic death, but really, with Jadis in World Beyond, there's still work for him to do if Jadis still cares. Huck also calls her a cop, and Jadis corrects her and says military cop. She's moved up. In episode 1, we saw a dead cop. We've seen what happens to these different ranks and levels of cops. A lot of fucking fools saw that video and were like, oh, that's not Rick. Some people even said that looked like Rick. No, I wasn't saying that at all. It was the uniform you want to look at. You're a numbskull for even thinking that at all. It's not even funny though. Like, if you thought I was saying that was Rick, you're actually a fool. I actually hate you. We were seeing a dead cop from the city. That's what happens to them. We're literally seeing what could have happened to Rick. And Jadis said herself, she's a cop because of Rick. Just 1 minute listening to Jadis and you can tell she spun webs of lies. Good lies, ones that would have protected herself, Rick, and Alexandria.
Betrayal.
I'm hard. At the end, when Jadis is talking with Huck and she reveals that Elizabeth has told her to investigate Huck to see if she's still with them, she speaks of what she did to be rescued and what she did before.
I was living by my wits in the wilderness.
Not speaking a single word of any of the 3 communities that she was under. Not mentioning Gabriel. Not mentioning Rick. According to Jadis in World Beyond, she skips everything that happened after the scavenger group fell. In her words, she created her own little society. She made the wrong alliances. It fell. Rick got injured. The CRM rescued them. She hasn't mentioned at all Alexandria or anyone that Rick cared about. This is likely to save them. After her civilization fell, she found an opportunity, and she gave the CRM something very valuable. Now, fortunately, as we assumed, she doesn't talk about it like she's given them some kind of CRM experiment, like all of the other people she's traded in. She speaks about it like she's just given them someone that knows what they're doing. And again, I think this is because they've had to do this to protect the people back home. Straight away, that's what I got from it. Rick's had to be a leader himself. That's still him being a prisoner if it's not him being in a jail cell locked up being experimented on. It just means he can't leave. Him and Jadis have to stay. Jadis would be happy about that, of course, but Rick wouldn't. It's been 6 years. Weirdly, Jadis says for the first time in years she felt safety, but her purpose was gone until she realized it wasn't. It just expanded. These are the little things we hear that Jadis says that shows maybe she's not this CRM soldier who straight away was given this purpose from the CRM. She just revealed that when she first got here, she lost it. She lost her purpose. She felt lost. She traded Rick and got rescued very shortly after what she did to Gabriel, and when she arrived at the CRM, thought she'd lost her purpose. She regretted it.
For the first time in years, I had safety, but my purpose was gone. Till I realized that it wasn't. It had just expanded.
Brainwashed.
My purpose was still to survive, and I'd gotten good at it with everything that I've been through.
I think when she first arrived, she was all about regretting it, feeling bad, trying to help Rick, and along the way was brainwashed and very slowly started to forget about Rick and what he wanted to do, which was to get back home. She was manipulated, just like we're seeing with Hope, and just like we've already seen with Isabel in Fear the Walking Dead. Brainwashed, not thinking about what actually matters.
I plead the fifth.
Oh.
Rich people humour. I've never been keen on this Dr. Bellshire character. I think she's a dozy fool. But this episode she reveals to Leo this anecdote about why she does what she does, why she experiments and wants to get rid of the virus and the walkers as a whole. How at the very start of the apocalypse a walker broke into their backyard and bit her daughter. She got sick and so the husband slept in her bed with her, thinking she was just sick. But then she turned and bit him too. So her husband and daughter both turned at the very start. She did her own experiments on them to try and make them stop, but it never worked. I think that in itself gives a better insight as to why she does it, because at the start all I thought was she's just a dopey fool who hasn't experienced the real world to think that fixing the walkers would be an issue, but she's doing it because her husband and daughter turned at the very start. So I do like that quite a lot, and I do like it a bit more because of that. So I think she's gonna die because of it. Yeah. At the very end of the episode, Disney XD character number 2 gives Will his dad's gun, and you could tell something was going to happen because he was acting really weird. I thought he was going to say that he liked him or something. I actually really like this, not just because he died. He didn't have to die for that to happen, for me to like it, but he will now go off and continue this rebellion with a gun that will actually mean quite a lot to him because the kid died after giving it to him. I love it because it brings the realism to it. Oh no, this isn't a fucking Disney show. His face is gone. What the hell's going on? Yeah, you're right. It's not a Disney show. It's in the apocalypse. It's been about 16 episodes with no real death. I don't count that Tony fool. I couldn't stand this kid or his stupid sister and that stupid stuff to do with the flowers in the eyes of the walkers. What is that bullshit about, by the way? The walkers still have consciousness. Well, don't put fucking flowers in their eyes then.
I want you to have it.
I think the CRM are my kind of people, you know, because I'd be sitting there with a sniper, and if he said any shit like that, I'd do him. This episode of World Beyond was a lot better, not just because of that death at the end, or even because of Jadis, but I think it just showed more of the grittiness that World Beyond was always meant to have. This is why I preferred Season 1. It gave me hope for the show. Season 2 took it. I wouldn't mind seeing Huck in the Rick movies for a bit. I just hope all appearances from World Beyond are almost like Easter eggs for the show. I don't want to be seeing Huck on the Rick Grimes movie poster when that first comes out. If it's Jadis' mentor, then let it just be that. I do like World Beyond, regardless of what I've said about it in the past. I still stand by what I've said about it. I think a few of these past episodes after Season 1, Episode 10 have been quite awful. Not just because it doesn't pique my interest of being some gritty, dark show. It doesn't really have to pertain to what I want, or to even be dark. If it wants to show a completely different side of the Walking Dead universe and the apocalypse, it can do that and still be a good show. But I just think it's genuinely been quite bad. This episode wasn't. I think it was really good. And I think after this episode, the remaining 4 to 3 episodes of World Beyond left, depending on when you watch this video, should be quite good. And I wouldn't mind seeing these World Beyond characters again, as long as they don't bring their Austin and Ali shit anywhere near Rick. I don't want to see Rick at all in World Beyond, and that's never been the case. Like I've always said, we're just looking for little things for Rick, maybe a picture of him, a CCTV video of him. I don't ever want to see Rick on this show. Just these little things, maybe even hear him. But obviously you don't want to see Andrew Lincoln running around on this shit. I think Felix is cool, Will is cool. I like a lot of these characters. I think the characters I don't like is Elton now. God awful. I hope he dies. Silas is decent. I actually have started to prefer Iris to Hope, because I Hope moans way too much. I'm just not having it anymore. It's horrendous.
What the hell? You're supposed to be keeping me from doing stupid shit, not the other way around.
Iris, I think, is gonna die, but at least she's not whining. What did you think, though? Have you enjoyed World Beyond so far? What do you think of this episode? What do you think of Jadis? Has she actually lied to people about where she's come from? Has she mentioned Alexandria? Are the serum aware of that? What do you think Rick Grimes is doing right now? Let me know what you think down below. And of course, if you enjoyed the video, make sure you press the like button. It actually really helps me out and will get this video seen by more people. And of course, if you did enjoy it, check out my other videos. Check out this one for my review of season 7 episode 3 of Fear the Walking Dead. I talk more on how Morgan and Strand, of course, would go to the CRM. There's actually been rumours of Morgan going back to the Walking Dead. It all essentially leads to the CRM, so make sure you go and watch that video. And watch my video I did on the Rick Grimes Fortnite skin that I keep recommending you to watch because it underperformed. Rick Grimes jumping around and shit. It's one of my favourite videos. Go and watch it. Thank you. Alright, bye. See you soon.